One bros, speedrunners, noobs, and leads. Welcome once again to the Idiot Gamer Podcast. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. We've got Andy Roberts.
Hello.
We've got Matthew Angel.
Hello.
And we've got Matthew Holland.
What the hell was that intro?
You like that?
I liked it. That's the new member of the podcast, Sebastian. Welcome, Sebastian.
Hello.
Now, this will mean nothing to Matt Holland, but it reminded me of, for some reason, I got Nightmare in my head from the 80s. Like
spell casting.
Oh, I used to love Nightmare.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about.
No,
It was a children's television show which used basic chroma keying technology and a child in a big helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, and his pals would have to sit there and tell him how to take paces forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
As they were looking into a really crap CRT monitor in a treasure chest, and then they would say 2 steps forward, sidestep right, sidestep right, and then this really badly superimposed tarantula
Or skull or something,
would
yeah.
come flying in.
Yeah.
And they had that thing where there was a time limit which was dictated by the little skull in the background.
This is the intro. Also has a great theme tune. I have to say.
Now, I'm not sure I've ever admitted to this.
Were you on Nightmare?
I wish.
That would have been an incredible story.
We auditioned for it and didn't get through.
Oh, denied.
Sucked.
Gutted.
Right, Scruff, I'm just going to send you a link here.
All right.
Keep this one for later. That's
Yeah.
going to be good. Right. Well, that's that taken care of.
That'll keep Matt entertained all night.
We're currently sat in Reading, and I once at a Reading festival, maybe in 2003, in the campsite, slightly drunkenly after the music had finished, walking back through, and then saw some people who had got themselves one of those kind of cool boxes, and they propped the lid up, and they were looking into it, and then one of their friends over across to the side was blindfolded, and they were playing
Amazing.
Reading Festival Campsite Nightmare.
Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, so that's Nightmare. Right, and now...
Video games.
So let me go.
Good when people think we've gone off the rails already.
They love it off the rails. Off the rails is the only way they'll live.
I think they'd be more surprised if we were on the rails.
That is true.
That's valid.
So let's try and steer this ship into some kind of news area. And I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Matt Angel.
Because I've been looking at news.
Yes, I'm steering into you.
Right, the first one,
Yeah,
I'm
go
going to
on.
have to say allegedly a lot. So
Okay, fine.
there was a news story coming out recently where allegedly Gearbox, I think he's CEO, Randy
Yes,
Pitchford,
Yeah, yeah.
has been accused of taking a £12 million sort of bonus, not entirely legitimately, allegedly, by one of the Gearbox lawyers. He denies everything, of course. That was the main story apparently, but I was more taken by the subplot, which was that he got a USB drive of pornography and left it in some sort of fast food restaurant where it was found by a young boy.
Not only that, he left it in a theme restaurant called
amazing.
Medieval Times, which is amazing that he was even there.
Yeah.
And also, he had loads of top secret IP from
Yes.
the
Yeah.
games company on the same drive.
But that young boy was only interested in one thing, and
Definitely.
yeah, there was also
It was Borderlands 3, right?
but they paid him off with this kid with loot and stuff like that.
they?
Yeah.
Get out.
It's basically like when Steven Gerrard, for those football fans, ran over that child in the car and paid him off with a t-shirt.
Nice.
So, pretty good.
Gearbox are a shambles from beginning to end, though, aren't they?
Yes and no. In terms of Borderlands 2 is an amazing game, but there are questions.
Aliens,
over the-
colonial marines.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point.
Yeah.
All it really does is highlight the fact that as much as video games are great, and there are lots of really, really great, cool and super ace people who work in video games, there's an awful lot of dicks as well.
Yeah.
Like it's and like my two big loves are video games and football, and they are mostly populated by knobheads. Both
Present
of those
company
things.
excluded.
Yeah, obviously, mostly, not exclusively, but yeah, it is a shame.
Now we're adult podcast, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
we're as adult as we can be, I suppose.
Right. Okay.
Oh, you mean adult in like content?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Fine.
can-
Okay. No, we're childish, but we're
No, I've checked the box.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's all right.
So I don't know if anyone saw Randy Pitchford's denial of this.
No,
he
how did
didn't
that go?
deny that the pornography was on the USB stick.
Okay.
But his view was, I saw this woman on the internet, and she was making water come out of her thing.
Bits.
And therefore, he's claiming rather than it being pornography, it's a magic trick. A lot of people have not taken that as
I'm
an
not turned on.
excuse.
It's just interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I can't understand where it's come from.
Oh,
Crikey.
dear, that is
Anyway, we've taken a
outrageous.
seedy turn.
Yeah. I tried to keep that as family friendly as possible.
Okay, good.
It's not my fault. It's Randy Pitchford.
That's just the news. I mean, we can't control the news. That's just what happens.
Do you think his name is actually Randy Pitchford, or his name's like Robert Pitchford, and he's just called Randy because he likes pornography on USB?
I always
stick?
thought it was Pitchfork. I always thought it was Randy Pitchfork.
That's the hipsters' music website.
Okay. Randy Pitchfork.
Well, probably for pornography if it was
Yeah.
Randy Pitchfork.
Right, let's get off Pitchfork.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's get back on some other hot
Yeah,
news.
stuff that's not going to get us sued.
So well, we said allegedly loads, didn't we?
Yeah,
so
okay,
it's fine.
allegedly.
But he's already admitted he had the pornography, so that's
Stop
not
going on about it.
Well, he had it. Well, the child had it for a while, but probably the biggest news that's come out since the last podcast was that Bungie have split with Activision Blizzard.
Ah, yeah.
So that is the equivalent of Hitler leaving the Nazis, I think.
Allegedly, Jesus Christ. Allegedly.
Well, no, come on.
So who's who in this case?
Well, they're both-
Is Activision Hitler?
They're both scumbags, aren't they? So it's like... It's probably actually
Andy's
like...
got his head in his hands at this point.
Well, actually, it's probably more like a whole load of bank robbers who just split the loot and go each way.
That's a
probably more
better
like it.
analogy.
Okay.
We'll take
So
that one.
if Bungie and Activision Blizzard splitting is Hitler leaving the Nazis, what is Overwatch?
Right, Overwatch is an abnormality.
Or no, maybe Overwatch is the
Schindler.
it's the
Oscar Schindler.
it's the German trains running on time.
I don't think we should mention Nazis and trains. This is wrong.
This is what happens when we don't plan. It gets wildly out of control.
How much have y'all had to drink this week?
We've eaten a lot of fried chicken.
Yeah, we're all stone cold sober, but we have eaten quite a lot of chicken,
Yeah.
which is maybe causing this situation. I don't think I'm having the news section again.
Okay. But what I would say is that a lot of Destiny fans are going, yes, this is fantastic. It's like we're back in control of Destiny. I'm just looking
Back in control of their own destiny.
yeah.
Hey-oh.
And there are rumours that Activision wanted like a game every year, and like, you know, Bungie want to like keep rinsing the same game over and over again. So basically, it's just basically a load of evil people splitting up and making two evil companies. It's fine.
What does
Yeah.
it mean for all these games that are copying Destiny? Does that mean that Bungie get to sue them on their own now?
They probably won't be able to sue them now.
No?
Well, no. You look at like what happened to PUBG, and
That's true.
if they couldn't sue Epic, then no one can sue anyone for
Is
anything.
very
Did
true.
did Bungie and Activision do anything else
No,
apart
no,
from
it was
Destiny?
just that.
So it's just an
Yeah,
impact
yeah.
on Destiny.
But
Okay.
there were a lot of people going, oh, don't, like, they're taking a lot of money from another third party, but that's for a different game. It's not for Destiny. So there was talk that they jumped out of the frying pan into the fire a little bit. But
Well, talking of Destiny, there are two games coming up that we, as a formidable online gaming crew,
yeah, I don't like the word clan.
okay, we're looking forward to.
It makes me think we're like, you know,
Yeah. Okay, you can
Irish.
stop. Yeah.
Why does everything... Look, let's get off the racism.
that's not racist.
I know it's not racist.
Celtic, isn't it? I was going to say it makes me feel like we're in the
Scotsman.
cranberries or something,
It makes me
Cranberries.
feel like Robert the Bruce.
or the cause.
Oh, the Cause. I
Jim
miss
Core.
the Cause.
You
What
liked it?
happened to Jim Core?
Jim Core, I think he drums for probably the Rolling Stones or something now.
That's an amazing shout. Nobody Googled
Allegedly.
that. Nobody Googled it. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was trying to do a good segue and it's all gone horribly wrong.
Go and do the segue.
Talking of Destiny,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a couple of games coming out this year that we were excited about, and now it looks like they're going to be Destiny.
Right, go on then.
Anthem
Yeah.
and The Division 2.
Right, let's do them one at a time then. Anthem.
Let's start with Anthem, because that's the most Destiny-y. So have you all watched the trailers?
I have.
What are your thoughts?
I think it looks very pretty.
It does look pretty, doesn't it?
I'll be honest with you, it looks like a headache to me. It's just too much going on.
It looks pretty similar to Destiny for me.
I think character-wise it looks like Destiny, but I'm yet to see...
Well, they cut to this. I don't know if you've seen it, Scruff.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
they cut to that screen where it's like, this is your character's powers screen, right? And it is literally the screen from Destiny with the guy and his weapon and his different capabilities. And then the voiceover was like, and here you'll see your character's power. And this is where and it's like, no, what they're doing there is, it is basically going to be a grind-a-thon to rank up, get worse enemies, beat worse enemies, get more loot, higher your rank, and on and on and on, interspersed with evil microtransactions.
So you apparently you get these different suits, don't you? There's three like classes in there, and
Four, I think.
Is it four? Is it? And then, but you can equip your different classes, so you can grind up all four of the different classes on the same character, essentially.
Okay.
Is that right? So
Yeah,
you're not you're not a particular character. You don't have to go down a particular.
Doesn't that mind you have to do 4 times the grind?
Probably, yeah. But Scruff, you were quite looking forward to this last time we spoke about it. What are your currently thoughts? Because at the moment we're a little bit sceptical on this side of the Atlantic.
No, I get it. It's BioWare's always had a really decent track record. They've not really fallen down too badly on anything they've really tried. Mass Effect Andromeda is probably the latest one, obviously, and this is kind of their chance for a comeback. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I want to see what the initial impressions are once we actually get people actually playing it who aren't, professional game developers or game journalists. I want to see, what their feedback is, like what actual people playing it is. So I know the beta's coming up soon, so I'm eager to see what the feedback is to that, whether it seems like it's something that's feels very much like you all are, concerned of, okay, this is just Destiny with jetpacks, or, if there's more to it than just that. I'm hopeful that there is, because BioWare has a lot riding on the line on this. If they don't make this some level of a hit, I don't know that EA is going to keep them around much longer.
Yeah, that'd be 2 big misses in a row if they make a mess of this.
I think I'm still okay with it in terms of, from what I've seen of the story mode looks way more interesting than Destiny's story mode, in that the enemies look like they're interesting. The thing that interests me the most is there's an open world version of it. Like, so effectively you can just jump in, hang out with your mates and just go hunt beasts and stuff like that. So
although Destiny did have elements of that, and I want to know if there's microtransactions basically involved in this thing, because Destiny 2 especially, I think Destiny 1 was a complete disaster, but Destiny 2 had parts of it that were good. There were parts of the game that were good, and the open world kind of bit of it where you could wander about and take out enemies. The thing that I really liked in that was that you had these completely sort of organic events that would just happen. So you'd be out and about wandering around, and then an event would just happen. And then whoever's around, part of your crew or just random online folks, would come in a co-op style, and you'd all work together to complete these little mini missions. And they weren't just shoot the baddie. There was always like a trick to it. It was like, you need to take out this thing first, and you need to trigger this button. You need to do that in order for it to drop the big loot. And that was quite cool, because it was like a little thing you had to learn, right? So each time you encountered one of these things, you had to do a little bit of like watching what the other guys were doing and work out what's going on. And that is cool. So I think if they can create some kind of online situation where you're not just randomly going around killing NPCs, but there is like events that happen that yield better loot or whatever.
So this open world thing, it looked like there were mini missions in there as well. It was like little quests and stuff like that. So I thought it looked really nice.
But on Destiny though, I mean, I found those little kind of real life eventy things they became repetitive really quickly, and you suddenly found yourself on the same kind of those little hosting staging areas where I'll go over and do this one again. That ship's coming in and does that drop. I'm going to go and do that one again.
That's the problem with that style of game though, because it just becomes a grind after a while. So yeah, it needs to have something else. I think it needs to have something else, but it looks amazing.
And one of the things they've said as well is it's kind of the core basis to the story is that obviously like society is kind of crumbling, and you and your cohorts, freelance. And for me, that feels a bit flimsy. They're going to have to work really hard with the story to actually get some kind of coherent story going, because otherwise, effectively, is you go back to your base, then you pick. I fancy going over here and taking that mission, and all of a sudden you kind of lose that sense of a narrative thread. I mean, maybe they'll piece it together really cleverly. Yeah. My gut feeling is that's going to be too difficult. It's just going to feel too go out, grind up a little bit, come back, do your stats like we did in the Division. Yes. Go back to the boo. To kind of upgrade your stats and stuff like that. And I just worry about that kind of. This is the game as a service thing, isn't it? Which at the moment, just nothing about that is kind of grabbing me or exciting me.
Yeah. I'm tentatively excited for it because the underwater bits look phenomenal, and I hope there's giant like fish monsters and stuff like that. So
it does look pretty amazing.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess my biggest concern is that there's something more to the game, that it's not just an excuse to do a Destiny.
I'll be honest, if a load of this stuff is hidden behind loot boxes, a load of the upgrades and stuff, I'm out.
They've said there are no loot boxes, haven't they? Because they said on social media they made this kind of big gloaty thing when Destiny came out about how theirs doesn't have any loot boxes in it. Okay. But so they're not using a loot box mechanism, but there will still be microtransactions,
treasure chests,
and I'm very interested to see how EA have managed to convince them to wring money out of people.
Because if any company other than Bungie is going to rinse people of money, it's going to be EA.
Yeah,
like you look at what they've done with FIFA, Madden, all that stuff. It's just gradually getting worse and worse. So.
And if you look at any of their mobile games, I mean, these guys are the fucking masters.
The gouge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's Anthem. I think. Potential, but
I'm tentatively excited for it, especially as it costs less now because they're getting like a load of people not interested, so they've dropped the price.
Well, really? but I also worry that they've dropped the price just because they know actually
microtransactions.
They're making all their money back on the
fill us in on that story, Matt. The Anthem pricing
down to £35.
Really?
Bargain. Yeah,
but it's not everywhere though. There's a couple of, I think it's Shop 2. It's down at £35 or something. There's a couple of
places. We all go to pre-order it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pre-order something. I'd rather wait and pay £15 extra.
I agree. Knowing whether it's good or not.
Yeah.
It's full price here in the States.
Is it?
Okay. Suckers. Look at all those rubes over the Atlantic.
So okay, well, we'll see. March for Anthem?
March 23rd?
Okay.
I don't know if that's right.
It sounds
right, yeah.
And so the other game that we were interested in and now our interest is somewhat fading.
February 22nd. There we go. It took me a second.
February 22nd. Oh, so sooner.
Yeah.
Perhaps Division 2 is March 23rd.
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
right.
So that's the other game we're talking about is the Division.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
2.
I've ruined the podcast now.
All right,
that's right.
I'll just go.
Forget it. So what do we think? Division 2, we were sort of well up for it before.
Well, I mean, I blow hot and cold on this. I'll be honest with you. At the moment, I'm in a kind of a lukewarm territory.
Okay.
I think, as I said, I think possibly on the last podcast, part of me is a little bit excited about it, just on the basis that the first game that I really played any online co-op, and it's where I met you guys, or most of you anyway. And so I've got a big space in my heart for the Division just for that reason. It was a real crappy time of my life as well, so that also helped.
Yeah.
And so I've got a little bit of fondness for that, but at the same time, I keep going back and I'm looking at footage of the second one, thinking I'm looking at the footage of the first one.
It's quite similar.
And I just don't know if there's if they've just done a fucking. Well, to be honest with you, they've just done an Ubisoft, and just repackaged the game ever so slightly, like they've done with the 832 editions of Assassin's Creed. Then I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
I'm still quite excited about The Division 2, and part of that is because I watched the videos the other day about some of the changes in the PvP, and I actually think they sound pretty good.
I mean, and that's fine. I think the PvP was the area where there was a lot of scope for improvement, because it was an area where you would only spend short periods of time. So they were fun to dip into the dark zone, but it wasn't somewhere you would spend most of your time because it was really tense.
Yes.
And so I quite liked that, and I quite liked the idea of them improving that and tweaking it, because it needed a bit of work, to be honest. In fact, they did quite a few patches during the short time
it
that
did
Division
improve,
1 came out. But so I am interested in that, but at the same time, I'm going to need more from the one-player game, for a better of a phrase. I mean, I know it's not one-player, the co-op game, the PvE game. I need more from that, I think, to get too excited. But having said that, the second we jump on there and we get our purple bomber jackets and our hats and stuff, I'll get something excited.
Yeah, I'm less interested than either of you, I think. I've gotten to the point where I'm actively not interested in it at the moment.
Yeah, if we're playing it, you're fucking playing it whether you like it or not.
Well, I don't know, because I thought like this is a perfect opportunity for Shane to jump back in, and I can just play Tetris for like 5 weeks while you clear that.
Why won't these games have like 6-player squads or whatever?
So one of the game modes on this will have up to 8. I think.
But do you remember we had this thing last time where it was like you'd get in certain situations and you could play with 6, but other times it wouldn't let you play with 6, and you had to split the squad, and it was really annoying.
That was really shit, and because we ended up with like 5 or 6 people, didn't we? And then all of a sudden you're having to go. When it was 5 people, like 3 people would go off one way, 2
and then
people
it was generally me and Andy getting stuck in a cupboard on our own. So it's fun. But yeah, I probably will end up buying it, mainly because I'll probably be bored whenever it comes out. But looking at the videos of it, it just looks like another map expansion for Division.
Yeah, it does.
All of the pre sort of hype is going on the dark zone and the PvP, which is not the bit that I enjoyed the most out of it. I enjoyed like doing the story missions with you, and I was just hoping that like the first thing would come out was going to be like twice as many story missions, like more varied bosses.
Sure.
But all of the enemies look exactly the same out of the first one. All of the guns look exactly the same as out of the first one.
But you'll still get all that sweet dopamine release when you get to and the little gold thing appears.
But I'm interested.
All that good psychological manipulation that they do.
All those numbers falling out of the bag, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember it being really hard as well, so it was always a challenge, and I quite enjoyed that. But I'm probably going to buy it, but I'm not excited about it.
What do you reckon, Scruff?
I watched a video of it today before I knew we were doing a podcast, and I watched basically like the opening mission. I don't think it's for me. You might have to go have fun with that. I've never been into the Call of Duty, Division, those style of games. Not that to say there's anything wrong with them. It's just not for me. It's never been anything I'm interested in. If I'm going to do an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter, I want to be shooting something unique like aliens or something, not just other people. It gets kind of, it's never been my thing. I've never really been interested in it, and this just looks like one of those gray, bland, we're in with people talking on your headset and feeding you all the exposition, and it was just like I didn't see anything fun or unique that made it look interesting.
That is the biggest criticism that we had from the first one, is its lack of self-awareness and fun.
It took itself so seriously.
Yeah, it really takes itself seriously. And honestly, the game could have been better if you were fighting. Like, have that game, like, it was the post-apocalyptic New York. Have zombies. Have it be zombies.
Yeah,
that would have been better in a
Zombies
way.
has been overdone, though, hasn't it?
I know, but even that would have been better, I think. Vampires.
But do something, or have like a couple of the bad guys, a couple of the bosses or something, be some kind of hideously mutated thing or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Something
like,
to add a bit of
clown who's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Just some sort of comedy version of
alien
it.
invasion.
Yeah.
The aliens from Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm definitely clipping that.
They need to make a decent.
Very serious. So,
No.
it is a bit po-faced.
The most important thing is that it's clear that post-apocalyptic Washington DC looks exactly like post-apocalyptic New York. So
Just in the summer.
Yeah.
That's literally.
I mean, that is one of the good things about it, because it's in Washington. We can we can go.
Oh,
and
that's true,
we can go
hang
to
out
Matt's
at Matt's
house.
house. And,
like, you can find my
shoot
house.
up,
Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah.
That is worth buying the game just to find your house. Yeah, that's awesome.
I would love it if we got there and it was basically just a squat that everyone had just like destroyed or something.
No, I want it to be actually based off of like some kind of guy that's driven around Washington, and you can just see Matt like peeking out the window.
Yeah. They've done it with the Google Maps van, and they've actually put the real people who live there. And it's just
That
like
would be great.
mutated Matt is just crawling out the window.
Now that's a game I can get on board with.
Half man, half puppy.
So those are two games that are coming up. I think we're probably going to have a crack on at least one of those, fellas.
Yeah.
I think by the sound of it, it's going to be Anthem, and part of that is because it comes out first. So that's in
I
its
think it
favour.
might be me and Matt on Anthem and you and Andy on the Division 2.
No,
so.
I'm going to buy Anthem.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
Interestingly, Division 2 beta is coming up on 10th to 14th of Feb or something like that.
It is.
So I mean, I put my name down for it. It's for people who pre-order, but also you can put your name on a waiting
In
list.
a lottery sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's worth doing that.
Yeah, I've done that this morning. So,
In fact, that's what we did last time as well, wasn't it? We just randomly put our
Yeah.
names up against
although
it.
Yeah.
I think it was like a completely open beta. Then they didn't have people who pre-ordered getting like priority or anything.
No,
so.
you're right, but it still was like it was a lottery based thing because they had limited server space. But you're right, they didn't have the pre-order people, and there will be quite a few people pre-ordering this, I would have thought.
Originally, this was one of my criticisms: is I don't like betas that are for pre-order customers, because I think the beta should be testing your sort of game to see if the servers stand up, but also it should almost be like a demo to try and encourage people to buy it.
Yeah, or maybe that's because they got so little faith in the quality of the beta that they only want people who have committed money to it to play it.
But as soon as you told me
I was thinking the same thing earlier today, because I was like, Anthem doesn't have one either. Anthem is basically you get into the beta based on whether or not you pre-order. And like the only reason I ended up trying out Overwatch was because it was free, and it was basically a demo of like, here, come join this, try this game out. Let's stress test it for a weekend and see what you think of it. And I was like, this is amazing, and now I'm hooked 3 years later.
I think at that time we did it for 2 or 3 games that had the same beta, and 2 out of the 3 were terrible, right?
So Battleborn and Overwatch. I seem to remember we played the Battleborn beta, and I was like, oh my god, this
We were
is
like, what the
terrible.
fuck is happening?
Like, we played one match and we were like, no, and that of course died because no one enjoyed it. And then we played the Overwatch beta, and I was like, well, not expecting to enjoy it, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I wasn't even convinced by the Overwatch beta. I didn't really know what was going on, and I sort of you guys, and I just went, it's just not really for me. And then you guys carried on playing it, and
I
then,
instantly bought it on release date because of the beta. Yeah,
and then you guys kept going on and on and on, and I just thought, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get it. I feel like I'm missing out, and I did. And then
there you go.
700 hours later,
I still remember having 6 of us at the start, like all heading off like on quick play with like 6 Torbians.
It's the only time I don't enjoy doing this podcast is because a part of me is thinking we could be playing Overwatch.
right.
I'm the same. And then the remaining 10% of me is I could be playing Tetris. So.
Have you not completed it yet?
No.
Can you complete it?
Well, you can get.
Is there a final
Is there a
boss?
Right. I know.
Is there a boss that's just an enormous cube?
I know the podcast's very already very Nazi heavy, but
Oh God!
like I don't understand what they've done with regard to the scoring, because it's got like, you can get A's, B's, C's, D's, and E's.
Okay.
Above that is an S for special or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then top of that, I assume is top, is SS. And I'm just like, you haven't thought that through. You really have not thought that through.
I still don't. I think you can reclaim the SS for Tetris.
Okay,
Reclaim it.
Is this like, yeah.
Yes, do that thing.
I'll just go. Yeah, that's now cool.
Exactly.
So I'm not going.
But you haven't got any SSs.
No. Oh yeah, I've got loads of them.
Oh, have you?
But I haven't got them on everything. So
You're doing better than me.
Is it not going well, Scruff?
Oh, I'm just not nearly as good at Tetris as he is. So.
Oh, okay.
I've played it a lot. I was very bad when I first started.
Oh yeah, lads. While you're both on your weird games tip at the minute, how's the VR? How is the virtual world?
Oh my God, I am so in love with it.
Really?
I have had,
Blimey.
yes, I have had so much fun. I am basically like, I've signed up for, I've been on like this website called truetrophies.com where they basically like track your trophies that you've earned in PlayStation. And I have been basically on a 22 day streak of getting at least one trophy every day. And almost all of them are from VR games because I have just been living in that thing. It is so much fun. To me, it's a game changer. Coming from somebody who basically started out playing video games on the Atari 2600, this is the first time in a long time, probably since like the Nintendo 64, where I'm actually looking at a game and going, wow, this is really something new and different and fun. And I'm so sorry I waited so long to get on board with it. It's so much fun that my husband, who is not a gamer really at all, actually really enjoys it. He loves playing Tetris. We just got Beat Saber over the weekend, where it's basically like it's a rhythm game with lightsabers from Star Wars, basically.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
It's so much fun. It is so intense and hard and challenging, but it's really, really well done. And
I really hope you're videoing. I really hope you're videoing each other when you're doing that.
I have shot of it. I have definitely.
How does it feel? Do you feel self-conscious in there when you're playing for like a long time?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No,
not at all. I'm mostly
weirded
out. I'm mostly weirded out at how much it feels like I could reach out and touch.
Is it that good?
Yeah.
Some of the games are. They legitimately are. Like the one that got so much. The one that got so much publicity this past year, Astrobotic Resolution.
So good.
It's this silly little platformer game. I don't know that it would be great if it were just flat 2D, but in the 3D world, it's amazing because
really
you are just everywhere you look, there is something interesting to look at. The effects are done just well enough to where it almost feels like you could reach out and touch the water that's in front of you, or touch the little robot character as he passes by you. And it's so amazing and so charming and so cute.
Andy's not having it.
At the end of each level, like the robots jump out of your controller and stuff and wave at you. And I always wave back. It's just, I can't explain. It's so immersive.
Come on, Andy. Say what you want to say.
I have almost vomited several times. Like Doom VR was very close to it wasn't terrifying. It was just I thought I was going to vomit. But yeah, it's a phenomenal thing. I have injured myself several times trying to punch things that don't exist. I've kicked over 2 cups of tea. I do have a special skill, which is being able to find my e-cigarette whilst I've got my headset on. I somehow seem to do it. I haven't yet, grabbed, something off the shelf and knocked it over or anything. But I
have to drink wine through a straw.
Oh yeah, I've seen your profile picture. That is brilliant.
Excellent.
But going back to what Matt said is, it gives me that same feeling the first time I played a Wii, in that it's such a different experience from what you've had before, that you're just like, oh my God, this is... I mean, there are terrible games on it, but there are amazing games as well.
So what you're saying is it's a short-term novelty like the Wii, because the Wii was a phenomenal success in terms of hardware sales, but it was basically a long-term flop in terms of software sales, wasn't it? And it didn't. It was a short blip in the history. Not blip's not the right word, but a short little kind of diversion in the history.
I disagree.
It absolutely can be. It absolutely can be, just like the Wii. But I think what's going to separate it, or what's going to make or break it, is whether or not developers actually feel like there's enough adoption, that there's enough people are picking up the system.
Yeah.
And as far as like the PlayStation is concerned, I think they are by far the leader in terms of our sales right now.
And what you're finding as well is that a lot of the AAA titles are doing like 2 or 3 levels for VR with their main games. So that I can't remember what Ace Combat has come out this week, and that's got like 2 or 3 levels where you are in VR and you can look around for the.
I saw Ian
Hickton's
Hickton's review that said this is absolutely amazing if you can stop yourself throwing.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you go back to old games, they went back to the original Battlefront, the Star Wars one, and there's a VR a Star Wars mission and stuff like that. So
I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, I'm interested in the idea of all of that stuff, but I just like everybody said, the industry told us that 3D movies were going to be the next greatest thing, when I didn't see a single 3D movie where the experience wasn't ruined by the fact that with the possible exception of Gravity, where the experience wasn't ruined by the ridiculous jarringness of adding layers of depth to a flat screen. So with the VR, it's different because you're moving your head and the world is moving with you. So I accept that it's going to be different like that. But at the same time, what I'm yet to be convinced, and I think possibly pricing might be an issue of this, is that there is actually any appetite for this. Everybody said it was going to be different. Everyone was going to be watching 3D TV, and that died on its arse. And maybe they'll prove me wrong, but it just feels to me like it's somebody's having yet another stab at VR. It'll go away again, and then in 15 years' time, somebody will have another stab at VR, and it will come along. I
don't think it's going to go away. I've heard rumors that both Xbox and PlayStation are actively working for their next consoles to actively work. They're actively planning on supporting a VR headset. I know Microsoft apparently wants to get in on the game. I've heard rumor that PlayStation is basically going to have a new VR headset, which is going to suck to have to buy the whole damn thing over again, but I probably will.
But they'll
have multiple cameras that we're looking, so we don't even need the little move controllers anymore. Now it'll just actively, the cameras will see our hands and be able to follow them and do all sorts of neat things. It's going to be a matter of getting developers on board. That's going to be the big thing, getting developers on board to put together quality games versus what we had with the Wii, which was basically a bunch of shovelware where you had people just basically shoving out all of these half-ass games that they didn't really put any thought or care into, and then that brought down the value of the Wii because there were very few games there were so many games for the Wii, but very few of them were very good.
Sorry, go on, Matt.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I think you're absolutely right. It's getting the developers and the game manufacturers on board, but it's also about hardware costs. Now, one of the successes about with the Wii was it was ridiculously cheap, and if they are on the next gen consoles that are going to be 450, maybe 450, £500 when they come out, maybe 450. You add an extra 250, maybe. Like I reckon to get the full set, you're looking at 600, 700 quid. For the first 2 or 3 years of their life cycle, and you're never going to get the majority of video game manufacturers. And they're gonna bump the AAA video game titles up to 80 quid because they always had 10 quid on per generation. So it's going to be out of the reach, I think, of most people to want to bother to buy it. And I tell you what, if they were really serious about it, they should be getting a decent kit and shipping it with it. I mean, I know that might be, might not be realistically feasible, but if they could do that, and I'm not convinced there's the desire either in the industry or in the in the consumers at the moment.
But keep in mind, though, with at least the PlayStation VR, it is the cheapest of the VR headsets, and it has the cheapest buy-in purchase because basically you have to purchase a PlayStation, which is relatively affordable, and then you can also buy the VR headset, which is also still relatively affordable. Not much cheaper than a regular PlayStation, but it's still a lot cheaper than basically the type of high-end PC gaming rig you have to get. And then on top of that, converting this to American, like it's $500-$600 just for the VR headsets themselves, on top of the $1,300 to $2,000 you might have to spend for just the PC gaming rig. You get a higher quality experience, but it's not having nearly the adoption that the PlayStation is. And so I think Sony has been very smart in that we're like, okay, we're going to cut some corners visually with what you're going to see when you're in the headset, but it's still going to be a good experience. And I think they've managed to do that. I've been really, really surprised and pleased with it overall.
Yeah, I think the Vive has the problem of having crazy amounts of cables as well. That are required and cameras that you have to position, I believe, and you can say otherwise, that the Sony one is a lot easier. It's still pretty heavily cabled.
It's got a camera, it's got cables and stuff, but it wasn't difficult to set up.
No.
And everything.
Yeah, it's basically plug and play and you're good to go. And it does like a couple of checks and you're set.
Okay, so...
A counterpoint to Andy. So firstly, these mechanical horses will never catch on. Secondly... He's gone full but secondly, I think
of a witty repartee.
I think 10 minutes with Astrobot Rescue Mission would change your mind
that's what I was
completely.
I was going to say, but like it's my previous conversations about the previous time they tried VR, that was because the technology just wasn't good enough, which is why it fell on its arse back then. Whereas the technology definitely is good enough now. And this is where I was going to come round to is that you've got to bring it round. You've got to bring it round.
I'm convinced that 10 minutes with Astrobot Rescue Mission will convince you that the technology is good.
This Saturday, for the pleasure of the YouTube public, Andy's going to start playing Dark Souls.
Oh no, I need to reschedule that.
Shit!
Yeah,
I
missed
messaged
that
you when you were in Canada.
I knew that. Yeah, I will definitely bring it.
So whenever that happens, we will also get the VR headset on.
Yeah. What I'll probably do is bring my PlayStation because it's got the games already preloaded on it.
That's
so
a fair point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I'm well up for that. I'm well up for being convinced. But bear in mind that nothing 3D works with my eyes. My eyes are bust. So
do you see in 2D?
No, I see in 3D.
Look at the size of those glasses.
But
can you wear them inside the hat?
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
But but like 3D in the cinema and stuff, it's all flickery and makes me vomit and stuff, and it doesn't work very well.
It might make you vomit.
I mean,
we're not doing this at my house.
And that's the other thing.
There's going to be vomit involved.
That's the other thing with VR is it is discriminatory against people with vision in one eye.
Yes.
Like Cyclops.
Right. Yes. Cyclops would be fucked
and
for VR.
Leela
and Leela from Futurama.
Yeah.
And any other one-eyed people.
One-eyed Willy.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Captain, no, not Captain Hook. He had one leg.
Yeah.
Napoleon,
yeah. No, we're just naming people.
I believe Snake out of Escape from New York.
Yeah. Doesn't Solid Snake wear a patch as well?
I was thinking
Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah.
Maybe.
This is the least interesting conversation we've ever had on the IG podcast.
Who wears eye patches?
I think it's very useful information. Right.
Did Thor only have one eye in the latest films as well? He got it ripped out
after a while.
Yeah.
That's true.
But then he got given it back, didn't he, by the little
Spoiler
rabbit?
No spoilers.
Not a spoiler.
I don't even know which film you're talking about. Right, let's finish up. Any more? What have you been playing?
I've been playing loads of stuff.
Yeah,
Go on.
Me too.
You've got about a minute.
Dead Cells.
Yeah.
Awesome. To be fair, I'm just going to be reiterating all the stuff that we were talking about the last episode.
So when you've been saying you played loads of stuff, you played the 5 games that you thought were the best games of 2018.
Yeah, because they were the only games that I played in 2018.
Did everybody play The Return of the Obra Dinn?
Yes.
How fucking good?
No, because I don't have a PC.
That's good. No.
Haven't tried it yet. Yeah.
Get on it.
Get on it.
So good. I still haven't finished it though. I'm saving it.
Yeah.
What else? What was that game with the holes in the ground?
Oh, Donut County.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good. I played that.
I've been playing Streets of Rage 2 on my Switch.
Very nice.
Which is Ace, and Golden Axe, and Golden Axe 2, which is Ace.
Very
Streets
good.
of Rage 3, which is bad.
Yeah, Street Rage 3 was rubbish.
Bad. It's got a kangaroo with boxing gloves. And I don't even remember the good guy character, who was like a bit of a kind of a like a rip off of Sagat kind of thing.
Okay.
But he was rubbish. What else did I have? Columns on the Mega Drive was shit. I had Columns on the Game Gear.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
amazing.
But on the Mega Drive, absolutely fucking... Sorry, this is the Genesis, by the way, Matt. But yeah, this is So
Cheeky bastard.
and most of the
Shaking his head.
most of the games on the Mega Drive were bad.
Mickey's Land of Illusion. That was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, although it was not as good as Castle of Illusion on the Master
Oh,
System.
agreed.
True. Very good.
But yeah, some of it's really good. The Sonic games are ace. Streets of Rage, ace.
Zan is the fourth character
Yeah, he's
from Streets
bad.
of Rage 3.
Bad.
Yeah, there you go. Good, right. Matt Angel, what you got for us?
Well, after Matt very rightly challenged me around why I would play Dead Cells but not Celeste, I played Celeste, and it's wonderful. It's really good.
Yeah,
rock
solid.
It is hard, but it doesn't feel unfair. Apart from one particular world, which I think it was poor design, but in looking back on it, it didn't cost that much to buy the game, so I'm okay with one level out of like 10 being terrible. I've been playing Warhammer 40,000 Gladius.
Which one's that then?
Right, so this is Andy's ultimate game because it's a Warhammer 40,000 game, which is effectively like Civ, a Civ game. So you effectively start off with two little men, and then you basically build a base, and then you go and like destroy the others and stuff. It's basically Civ, but without the diplomacy. It's basically just like build your base, make as many units as you can, and just crush the other people.
Okay.
So I've been really enjoying it. But at the risk of him pressing that button again, I'm annoyed it doesn't have Eldar in it because they're my favourite race out of Warhammer 40k. But I played Donut County. That was excellent. Good shout, Matt. Doom VR almost made me vomit. Yoku's Island.
That was the one I hated.
Yes, Yoku's Island.
Yoku's Island Express
Brilliant.
Buy that.
is so chill. Honestly,
really
it's just lovely. Kelly, unfortunately, my other half, she was very ill one day. I actually had to call an ambulance, and we ended up in A&E, and I was just sat there for like 4 hours in A&E, just like playing like just this chill little game while she's just feeling terrible. So I got back into Overwatch competitive. I got back into Dead Cells because I enjoyed the hardness of Celeste. I went back to Bloodborne.
Where's the camera? I'm going to look at Matt and shake my head.
Yeah.
I thought Bloodborne wasn't just bad, it was difficult. It was also bad, wasn't it?
Just nonsense.
It's basically Dark Souls, but it's got a better theme to it.
Oh, Andy, I'm going to love you playing Dark Souls. It's going to be so much fun.
But
nobody else is allowed to touch the controller. He's literally on his own.
The thing with Bloodborne
No Googling.
is I understand now why people like that, but I don't particularly like it. In terms of, I got through the grind, I could see the appeal. But then you get to the bosses, and the bosses you only beat by finding an area where they can't hit you.
Yeah, you fucking
cheese
clip
it.
through a wall until you can
you
hack
cheese
the...
it.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
But I
we're the only video game podcast that hates Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I like it that way.
One of us might love it. You
might
never
love
know.
it.
I
Yeah,
might.
we just don't
Andy's
know.
not going to love it. But I see the appeal, and it's a bit Lovecraftian, so I can get it on board. But I still hate Dark Souls, and I still actually dislike Bloodborne, even though I can kind of see the appeal. And I'm still playing Tetris Effect and Astrobotic Rescue Mission. So
Nice. Scruff, what about over there?
Well, when I'm not living inside all the VR games, I'm trying out a whole bunch of them. Like I said, Astrobot, the Moss. What else do I have on my
Moss was
list?
very nice.
Moss is very pretty. Let's see what else. My husband and I have actually been playing Keep Talking and No One Explodes.
Amazing.
Oh, that is
yes.
good.
So good.
Yes.
It's so stressful though. Oh my god.
I didn't we do a YouTube video of that back in the day?
I don't think we filmed
No.
it. We just
Oh,
played
did we
it.
not? Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. We've been playing Beat Saber a lot. Outside of that, I finally got into Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch.
I have been also destroying that game. Very good. I played it for
enjoyed
6 hours non-stop on my flight the other day. Literally just played
well
it. I
done.
nearly completed it in like that one city. It was great.
So
Still playing.
Do you
Go ahead, sorry.
do you see what I mean about it being too easy though?
Yeah, but I love an easy
I
game.
know,
you know
I know
me.
you do,
Love
like
an
Captain
easy
Easy
game.
mode, but I found that it diminished some of my enjoyment of the game because it didn't feel like there was any challenge there whatsoever. So
I must be playing. I must be playing on a different difficulty setting to you.
Andy's struggling.
It's challenging enough for me, but that doesn't
Yeah,
say
there you
much.
go. You see, man, you're just too good at video. You're too good at video. You've got too good.
this isn't what you were saying last night. You were saying I was the curse of Overwatch.
Oh yeah. Talking of which, sorry,
Oh.
Matt, we've hijacked your
Yeah,
section.
yeah.
Now.
We'll get back. We'll get back to this. They're just going to abuse me about the fact that I'm
So,
terrible at Overwatch now.
These guys. So I'm here with Matt Holland. We're on this side of the table now. These two idiots, Andy and Matt Angel, convinced us to get back into playing the worst version of Overwatch, the competitive mode.
Best.
And we lost. All four of us played together, and we lost 8 rounds in a row. 8.
Counterpoint.
I had to log off a few times because I was getting too frustrated. so
Exactly.
I'm only 0-6 right now.
That can't be a great sign.
I am so bad.
And then, so we played 8 in a row, and we lost. And I was like, look, I've got one more to go to finish. So I had 9. I was 0-9, to use the American terminology. I was 0-9. And then we come into that last game, and I was like, look, let's just do one more, because as you keep telling me, once the placements are over, it'll be great. Get the placements out of the way, and it'll matchmake, and it'll be great. It's like, fine, we'll do the last match. Manjul logs off. Me and Andy rinse it.
We absolutely rinse the fellas.
Absolutely rinse it. 1-9
Okay.
for the finish.
Right, counterpoint, right? Me and Andy got back into Overwatch competitive because we were having a lovely time when it was just the two of us.
That's very
We
true.
were winning a lot. You jump back in with your placement matches.
I never saw
you
this.
bring all of these hard players that are in placement matches, and suddenly I've gone from 1900 on my placement to I'm at 1600 now because I've been playing games with you two.
Look, just because you can't handle my Genji fucking skills.
I would point out that for the two of those games, Sai was playing as Genji, who he cannot play.
Look, if you're going to go pro, I'm going to go pro too. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is I played earlier and won 3 in a row, so...
Okay.
I love video games, bringing people together.
I know.
hate you all. It's not co-op anymore. It's not co-op anymore.
Just one quick point on Mario
Have
Odyssey.
we got some time for a bit of competitive later?
If I get home quickly, it's going to take me another 45 minutes to get home.
Are you out of placements now?
I've done my placements.
Right, I'm
now.
on then. I'm on.
Okay,
So,
good.
one
Scruff,
quick.
finish off your placements, mate.
I have not finished. I still have like 3 or 4 left.
Okay, well, in the 45 minutes that Andy's got to drive home, you can finish those placements.
I have to. Great.
Quick point, because I started playing Super Mario Odyssey on Switch, and I started having this issue, which I'd spotted in Dead Cells, but it wasn't causing a problem, but suddenly became a super massive issue in Mario, is that my left analog stick on my Switch is drifting to the side, and
that's a bug.
and it is a bug. Well, it's basically a hardware
Yeah,
fault.
I heard about that.
And so I've had to ship it off. So it's currently with
Has it gone back to China, to Japan?
No, there's a repair centre in the UK. So
Disappointing.
yeah, so I
Milton
sent-
Keynes, probably.
no, I think it's out this way. It's like Amazing Stoke or somewhere like that.
So I just to finish off the Switch chat.
Didn't Matt have a point about
Oh yeah.
Super Mario before we
Oh sorry, yeah, we
him on,
hijacked it. What were you going to say, Scruff? Super Mario.
Say that again. Sorry, you kind of cut out.
What were you going to say, Super Mario Odyssey? Before we
Oh,
started
no.
that whole rant.
No, I was just saying I'm enjoying it. I just hadn't really played a whole lot of it yet, so I'm only in like the Sand Kingdom. So
Keep going. It's very good.
I plan on it. I've also been playing Hollow Knight on the Switch. I've been starting that.
That's a
Yeah,
wonderful
it's-
game.
It's really good. Now that one is one where it's challenging, but it doesn't feel punishing. I feel like every time I've died, it's been a fair death.
Yeah.
Whereas there are plenty of games where it feels like, okay, I just died just because the game's just trying to be a pain in the ass. But I've never felt that way about Hollow Knight so far. I've really enjoyed
I
that
agree.
aspect of it, where it expects you to be clever and to be smart and to you're attacking various villains or enemies So I've enjoyed that. The only other big game that I've been playing is I've finally decided that I'm going to get around to playing Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I'm going back and replaying all of the original games. So I'm doing the remastered version on the
pushing
PS4.
boxes.
I was waiting. I was just looking at either of these and seeing who was going to pull the.
I might get you a T-shirt
Haven't been
that
a
just
lot
says
of box
pushing
pushing
boxes on it.
Box
That'd be quite a
pusher.
good T-shirt.
I was still the first one, so it's a lot of like climbing and shooting, murdering lots of people. So.
Have you ever played the first one, Matt?
Oh yeah, years ago when it first came out. Yeah.
Otherwise, I was.
Of the three was my least favorite of the original three. So
Yeah, it just got mad towards the last hour and a half of the game. It was just ridiculous. So
I know about that twist coming, and it's just oh god, that's going to be annoying. But I'll power through it, and so I can get through the story. So.
yeah, on to 2.
I played the demo of the latest Tomb Raider game.
Oh, okay.
Is it good?
I've heard it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Right, that brings us to the end of the show.
On that final
And
note.
on that note, so that brings us to the end. It's been a wonderful chat, lads.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the free-form nature, mainly because I didn't have to do any work beforehand, so that's a massive bonus.
That's different from when exactly.
Yeah. I'm facilitating in ways you can't even understand. That's how it works. I'm on another level over here. That's a video game. That's another video game reference.
Well, no, another level were a 90s boy band, weren't they?
Also true.
You're
right.
thinking of Another World.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I've got to bring the podcast to an end, boys. I've
was
got
that
to.
what Dane Bowers was in? Another
Yes,
level?
Dane Bowers was in Another Level.
He was also in Another World.
Was he?
No.
Oh, right.
That was that cartoon. Look, stop it!
Available on the PlayStation Network right now.
The podcast must end.
Are we sponsored by Another World?
Scruff, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Andy Roberts, thank you very much.
Bye.
And Matthew Tetris Angel, thank you very
Laters.
much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fantastic time on the Idiot Gamer podcast, and we will see you next week.